Yo, yo, yo.
Pew, pew.
Yo, 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 y'all. So what's going on, everybody?
I know it seems like we've done a lot of lives lately, but we're trying to figure out this whole routine that we got going.
Well, one of the reasons why we're jumping on here right now, as you can tell, is we're a little dirty.
I actually had to change.
The butcher, baker, and
Queso maker
were here.
We have a reason, for real. Like, we didn't just jump on here to jump on. We promise.
And we got to talking with them today. And also, Single Dad hit us up.
Yeah, while we
today.
were visiting.
While we were visiting.
It was the same kind of thing.
There was a bunch of questions.
Yes.
And then there was a lot of questions sent to us via Facebook Messenger, email.
Well, even with the people that we've been soundboarding back and forth with, have been like, so tell me, like, what kind of things are you going to barter for? What aren't you going to barter? Like, where's your hard line? What's the, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions, so.
And so we figured we would jump on here, and I don't know if we're stepping on anybody else's time, and if we do, we do apologize. But one of the reasons why that we decided to do this as a real quick live stream is because some of y'all might also have questions that we're not going to be, or we haven't answered in what we're getting ready to go over.
Right.
And two, I don't think that Robin and I would be able to put this in a 5-minute video to where, there's a lot of meat here that we kind of need to discuss. And that's going to take a little bit longer than a 5 or 15-minute video. So if you're going to film something and put it out and not be a premiere and it's going to be longer than 30 minutes, you might as well go live.
Yeah, no, it's not. And like you were saying, is I feel like the platform of a live where people can ask questions, because we may put out the video and it be like, 5 or 10 minutes, even if we just cut it short and dry, but then we don't answer all the questions that everybody has, and then we have to put out another one, and that's just doesn't make sense. So we just figured this was a better platform to be able to kind of clarify on anything, because we've had some really wonderful people ask some questions about how they can help.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where it's fallen at. It's not somebody trying to catch us doing something wrong. It's, we want to be able to help you, but we don't know how we can help you without it being, so that's basically where we're at. So we figured it would be a lot better today. Your package will be shipped tomorrow. Yay! I saw those. Did you see the little pouches that they're putting all their kits in now? They're so cool. They look really good. Hey, Mama.
Pouches, huh? Little sacks.
Yeah, they look like little brown sacks. So, I'm listening while I'm in bed. So if I don't comment listening to Jason, it's probably put me to sleep.
So, okay. So, the main question that seems to continue to come up is, hold on, give me just a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My phone is just killing me.
Why?
Because they want me to buy the new one. And so now everything is just dragging. It's just going so slow, and I refuse to get a new one. It's just like that, and that's the way it is. Okay, so the main question that we are getting is, are we not spending any money at all? Are we just not going to the grocery store?
Is it because of health reasons? Is it because of monetary reasons? there's been a whole bunch of like question as to what's, what are the rules? What are our guidelines?
Are you doing it just for YouTube? Try to be YouTube famous?
Right.
And that's a hard no.
Jason, you just love to talk to us. That's why all the live streams. That's true. We do enjoy this. We like this forum a lot.
Yes.
Big Bear Homestead needs a sign that says so many days since Daisy escaped, like a safety board at factories. That would be funny. Change one out every day. 9 days since the last escape. But all joking aside, that has been very stressful. Like, I was really looking forward to this weekend being very restful. Because the last 2 weeks have been really rough around here because we've been getting ready for everything, and then I was off of work, and then back on work, and off work, and so it was just...
How'd that go again?
Off of work, on work, off of work, on work, so it was just crazy.
One more time for the people in the cheap seats.
No. So, this was supposed to be a restful weekend, and obviously it did not work that way. My legs, my knees, my back are like...
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of pain. So, we were very fortunate. The butcher, baker, and queso maker, they came to visit.
And so we know that Miss Katie has experience with dairy animals. And so we took her, I'm not even going to engage. We took her out to our pasture to see
what she thought. Yeah. No, not that she necessarily has...
she's not a cow whisperer.
Right, she's not a cow person necessarily, but she definitely knows, she knows her dairy animals, and she knows ruminants too, so...
Right. And so she got to looking at Daisy, Calf Pal, and Delma.
And let me, real quick, before you... The other thing, too, is that it's always nice to have another set of eyes. So there may be something that you're just taking for granted and seeing and not thinking about.
Word. That
somebody else might look at and go, duh, and you're like, ugh. So... That's another thing, is you kind of have to... It's always nice to have another set of eyes, because then somebody might be able to help you look at something from a different perspective that you hadn't thought of.
And she completely yeeted it today. She yeeted it.
Have you tried turmeric powder for the joint pain? I have not. I have tried turmeric oil, and I just haven't done any oil yet today. See, yesterday was rough. I got up this morning, had a hot bath, and I was starting to feel good. But then...
My first glass today.
And then when...
6 p.m.
And then when Katie and Paul came, I forgot that the last time they were here, we didn't really walk them out to the pasture to see the pasture. So it was nice to be able to take them out there. But the problem is that we had I've probably spent a full day walking. And my legs, I'm not 20 anymore. Like, I'm not even 30. You look like
you're 20, baby. You a hot mama. Yes, you are.
My knees are they are shot today.
So, she took a look at the cows. And we've been spending so much time focusing
on the belly,
on Daisy, that when we went out there today, old Calf Pal,
who she's gotten a little hefty, a little wide. What?
Hefty.
Yeah, she's a little big. Anyway,
what does Gabriel Iglesias say?
Fluffy.
You have healthy, fluffy, hefty.
I don't know.
The girls can do it, but.
Has Jason rubbed your feet today? A good husband would do that. It's not my feet. My feet are fine. It's my knees.
and so, Calf Pal's a little thick.
And she was already thick, but she's light.
Yeah. And the thing about Calf Pal is she's a heifer. She's never
had a baby.
Never had a baby.
So her bag has always, the thing with a heifer is that they don't really have a bag. It stays up, taut with their tummy. Mm-hmm. You have the little teats, but they're like these little, they just barely hang out, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we got to walking and looking at Daisy, we were looking with what Cheryl was saying about Homestead in the Highlands, was saying about left his lunch, right his romance. Well, when we got out there, it usually is, she was always favoring the right. Thing. And when we got out there, sure enough, it looked like it was left. And I was like, but then she started to walk and you could see it was all shifting over and staying on the right-hand side. And so, so I was kind of looking at that, and she did look like her bag had a little bit in it, like more than what it had been the day before.
Who?
Daisy. She looked like there was a little bit in there.
How did we get on Daisy?
Stop. So then we went over to Calf Pal, and Katie was already over there, and she was looking at her, and she said, has she had a calf before? And I was like, no, she's a heifer. And I was like, oh, like all of a sudden you can see it on my face. I was like, oh, I think she's bred, because her bag is starting to form. Mm-hmm. She's actually, the skin is dropping. It's not taut with her like it was, because it was that way. It was taut. But now it's starting to drop. And so, like Katie was saying, she's like, pretty sure she's bred. Might even have a calf before mom. So it's very possible. Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, at least in my mind, when she said that, I was like, dude, what? It was kind of a what were you thinking moment, because for some reason in my head, the babies were gonna pop out
in the order that
Daisy, Delma, Calf Pal.
Just because of their age.
Well, not necessarily because of their age. That's kind of how the pecking order works.
Oh, okay.
And I just thought that's how they would have been lined up. Mm-hmm. And Freckles would have did a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Right.
And went back over to eating. I don't know why I'm sick in the head. I don't know why I was thinking that they would just line up for him and everything. But it makes more sense because for Calf Pal to have hers first, because Daisy has always been the queen, capital B.
Right.
Ends in itch. Mm-hmm. Out there.
Right. She's always been the mama. She was the matriarch.
Right. And so when we put them out there, I mean, we even showed it in the video. They were going at each other. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't going to be a couple of push and shoves and Daisy was going to be like, okay, you're the man. Woohoo.
Wait, how did that go again?
Woohoo. It wasn't going to, I don't know why I was thinking it was going to work that way. You know? In reality, Daisy was probably like, "What you talking about, Willis? Mm-hmm. You ain't earned this yet." You know.
So in the meantime,
Calf Pal's like,
"Wait,
woohoo! How you doing?" So it would make sense that with her being the less dominant one,
that she
would
quicker.
She would breed quicker because she would submit to him quicker.
Right.
Where the other two were like, you in my neighborhood, man. and so that's
like girls, that's how we do it apparently. Woohoo! Hey baby, how you doing? Woohoo! Sorry, that's just funny. So anyway, what you're saying is the youngest is the hussy. Possibly.
So, my major issue is we weren't planning on milking calf pow. And do we want to stick to that?
I think it's going to have to be a wait until we get there kind of decision.
Yeah.
Because there's a good possibility that she's not going to be a good milker since she's half beef.
She's mostly beef.
You know, her stature's beef. So it's very possible that it's not really going to be worth trying to milk her. Like, it might be that she has just enough to give to her calf, and she won't stand still, and she won't do, you know, we don't know. We will not know until we get her in a stall and try, in my opinion. But I think in the meantime of that, you may find that Daisy won't be too far behind.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Because to be honest with you, the day that you did your live stream, walking her back the first time, she was completely deflated. There was nothing in that bag at all. It was literally flapping skin. Like, that was it. But then in the process of all of that, when we were back there looking
today, I kind of noticed that too. That
she does look like she's filling up a little. Like, it's not all skin anymore. It's like it's kind of getting a little bit of form to it.
And there's not going to be any doubt because Daisy's got huge bags.
Yeah. Daisy is a Jersey Holstein cross. Okay. Both Delma and Calf Pal are half Jersey Holstein, half
Hereford.
Hereford. However she wants me to say it. So, and to be quite honest, Delma, if you look at them side by side, Delma is the dairy. She is all mom. And Calf Pal is all dad.
There's a reason why we call her Calf
Pal. She is huge. Yeah. And now that it looks like I love how I'm doing, but this is exactly like, she looks like she's carrying a sack of potatoes on either side. She's walking around like this. So, but that's not why we're here. So this is why
we did it as a live stream and not a video, because as of right now the video would be 20 minutes long and we haven't even answered the first question yet.
Yeah. So, okay, so one of the questions that we got was, are you going to barter for just staples? Are you going to barter for luxury items? Where's your line in the sand on what you're going to barter for?
Do you want to barter for soda pop? Do you want to barter for sugar, flour?
Right. So what are your things that you feel like you can safely or in good conscience barter for?
Mm-hmm. And so that got us thinking and talking, and we were talking with Paul and Katie and Chris. And so we came in here this afternoon and sat down and we made a list of things that we feel that we are going to have to barter for. Now, some things we know we're going to be bartering for, but we've already got those lined up, like with the Bassards or with Chris or Mimsy's Garden, which, is she in here? I forgot.
Mimsy, I don't know if I saw her in here.
I think I need to tell her.
I don't know. Calf Pow, like Pow, will probably produce more than the calf needs. Not as much as Daisy, obviously, but I think a good extra. Yeah. I just don't, she's going to be a big heifer. And so it's going to be interesting trying to take care of her and, put her in the stall and milk her and everything.
I mean, she is a heifer. She's never had a calf. Mm-mm. So we've never been down there messing around her udders, messing around her teats. Yeah. She's never been boxed into a milking stall.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're going to have to make the decision of over the next week or so is whether or not we're going to give it a go. If we're going to give it a go and try to milk her, we need to start bringing her into that stall, closing her down.
And get her comfortable.
Just get her comfortable with it. Let her eat some feed. Maybe brush her a little bit. Go down there. Touch them a little bit. You know.
Get her acclimated.
Get them acclimated. Mm-hmm. You know. And get her used to it. Because when we hook that machine up.
It makes noise. So.
Yeah, we need her comfortable. Mm-hmm. So that way. When it gets to going. She's already going to kick a little bit because of it being uncomfortable, but I don't want it every time we just go down in there to try to hook it up. That can get a little dangerous. So we will let you know what our decision is probably on the Saturday live stream, whether or not we're going to milk her or not. So what are some things that... Look, Mama trying to get us back on task. Mm-hmm. What are the things that we're looking to barter for?
Okay, so the first thing that we did is we kind of... Put it up? Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put it up.
We kind of made 3 categories. So there's the category in red is the stuff that we're pretty sure we are not going to be able to produce or source on our own at all.
Right.
The stuff in green is stuff that we have started to grow our own or try to come up with substitutes for those things. So those things we're open to barter, but we've got stuff in place. We're trying to make it where we don't have to barter as much. And then those last 2 things, the seafood and the salt, are things that we feel that we could, if we had access to, like driving distance, we could either go harvest ourselves or be able to barter with other people for those things.
Yes.
So that's pretty much where we're at. Baking powder, baking soda, yeast, chocolate, those 4 things right there. And this is the other thing. If you're looking at this list, it doesn't seem like there's a lot on there. And that's really because these are really the only things that we can think of that pose a challenge. Mm-hmm. And they are, in our opinion, these are somewhat luxury items. Because baking powder and baking soda are really for baking stuff, and we don't tend to see that kind of thing being as, and like chocolate is not a necessity. It is certainly a luxury item. Coffee, we have stocked up on coffee. Now, the thing with that though, and I was explaining that to Katie and Paul today, is our goal is to exhaust that, is to try and find other alternatives so that we don't have to use all of that store. Tea, it's another thing. Can we find other herbs to make tea so that we don't have to always buy tea bags or barter for tea bags? Flour, theoretically, we could grow grain and wheat berries and all that stuff, but we don't, at this point in time, don't see us being able to produce enough to be able to have flour. Oats, again, it's the same thing. Grits, it's the same thing. Sugar, we are going to plant sugar cane and sorghum and stevia. Like, we've got a lot of things that we're thinking about doing.
And now we're going to reach out to the busy little house.
Yeah.
Because she
said enough snow and maple syrup
to barter with.
So maple is definitely, and y'all are going crazy with these, and I have to start catching them. I have plenty of, snow and maple syrup to barter. Chocolate. We have access to unlimited rice, but it would cost a fortune to ship. Are we allowed to send stuff to you without bartering? Is that baking chocolate or eating chocolate? Both. Okay, you realize hundreds of gallons of natural salt to make a pound. Exactly. So that's the thing, is like it would take forever to do that. What do you mean chocolate is not a necessity? Here it is not. It would be more baking than it would be just to eat. This year I've worked hard to learn a lot on medicinal herbs. Knowledge is power. Yes. Is that Fleischmann's yeast? Yeah, that's what we've used. You can grow your own coffee. We have the seeds. We're just not sure that we're going to have the soil or the atmosphere for it, but we're going to try. Foggy on the type of chocolate. We've been using like almond bark for, dipping chocolate stuff, but then also I'd put salt in red. You'll need an average of 80 pounds per person per year. Wow. You really need that much salt?
Wow. I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that. Coffee. Are you in the right climate to grow it? See, I don't think so.
Well, how can you say that when our buddy up
because
in Helen
because he grows it in a greenhouse.
No, he's not. He's growing it on the side of a mountain.
Okay, well that's even better. It's the same thing. It's not the same atmosphere, but chocolate helps with the other three. Yeah, and that's a good point. Let's see. Still confused on the chocolate, like Hershey's powdered chocolate in cans. It's I didn't really fully think this one through as far as the chocolate is just between chocolate bars to be able to eat and cocoa versus baking chocolate.
Let me interrupt you for a second. You stay there. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Okay. Chocolate. There are 3 women in this house that all 3 still have their cycle. Chocolate is what keeps me alive. So, when it comes to bartering chocolate, I don't care if it's a Hershey's bar, cocoa powder, as long as it's chocolate and I can slide it into the house before I come in, so be it. So, that's the type of chocolate. If it's chocolate, it's good. Because we do, in all seriousness, we do need the eating chocolate for their time. And the baking chocolate and the dipping chocolate and stuff like that. So
okay, so there's a couple people saying they grow tea.
Okay, let's kind of go over this list without the baking powder and baking soda. We know we can't create those. The yeast, we don't have the right type of climate. The chocolate, we really don't have we can't grow cocoa beans or anything like that. So that's why those are in red. And to remind everybody, red is stuff that we have to we can't do anything with. We have to barter for. Coffee. Now we do have some coffee bean seeds from M.I. Gardner that we will try and start to see what it will do. But in all truth be told, excuse me, the reason why coffee and tea are the first 2 green ones is because we're still doing our research on those. So I don't know exactly how much coffee we would have to grow in order to support us at a year at a time.
Right.
Same way with tea. Now the Stivers put a video out about their tea garden that has got our attention, and we're talking about it and discussing whether or not we're going to follow that lead or if there's something else completely up in a different direction that we can go. Flour, we do have wheat planted right now that we can, we were hoping that it would grow and be able to grind up, but with all the monsoons that we had over the last couple of days and week, and even before, even before that, the wheat is coming up in tight bunches to where I don't know if we're really going to get anything out of it because of the water runoff and everything. It pushed the seed. Oats is the same thing. You know, to be able to get us through for a whole year, that's a whole lot of...
We would need a metric ton of coffee per week. I'd need 100,000 pounds of coffee per year.
Oats. See, flour, oats, grits are all ones that we would have to set aside a good part of our real estate in order to grow enough to sustain ourselves. So those ones we kind of may be leaning towards growing a little bit and then bartering for the rest that we need. Sugar, let me skip that one for a second. Rice also falls into that category. Now, we do have some a variation of rice seed that we got from Baker Creek that does not need to be grown in the typical rice paddies that everybody recognizes from Vietnam movies and documentaries about Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, where they grow a lot of the rice. And so this strand of rice can be grown just in a regular pasture like wheat and corn. And so we're going to give that a go. But I do not... It's going to be our first go around. So I don't know how much this stuff is going to produce. And so that's why it's where it is on the barter list. Citrus is really kind of important, and we do have a greenhouse now. We just got to get it erected, and we'll be able to grow our own greenhouse. But again, I mean, our own citrus, but the very first year they're not going to produce real heavy. So we may have to barter a little bit the first year. That's why the stuff here in green is stuff that, yes, we need it to be able to barter for it now, but maybe next year or the year after, we may not have to.
Right.
Same way with nuts. We do have pecans and black walnuts on the property. We are going to eventually add some more regular walnuts, chestnuts, Chinese chestnuts, and some different things like that. We have already had started the conversation with Mama Grows for bartering with her with walnuts. But I don't think anybody around, at least here in the lower 48, that can grow cashews. You know, I would love for us to be able to barter with some folks from Brazil to get the Brazil nuts. I love that. Bananas, we are going to be... What?
No, that's not right, B-Lady. The red is what they're looking to get. The green is what they can offer, and the yellow is up in there. No. All of these things are things we would barter for.
Yes.
The red is just stuff that there's no way we will ever be able to produce it. The green is stuff that we're putting plans in motion to be able to produce, but more than likely will not be able to produce this year. And then the stuff in yellow is stuff that we would consider going like to the coast to be able to harvest ourselves.
Right. We do bananas, back to bananas. Bananas, we do have some seeds from Baker Creek. We will be starting the banana trees this year. But again, I don't think they're going to be around long enough to be able to produce a good harvest of bananas this year. So again, the stuff in red, there's no way for us to be able to produce or do it. That is a hardcore barter. The stuff in green is definitely a hardcore barter this year, but some of those may be taken off the list in years to come. And now the stuff in yellow is stuff that, you know, if we get to go up and see Mama Donna, maybe we can go out and harvest some seafood.
Right. I like what Mama said. She said, dehydrate lemons, limes, and oranges. Put a lemon or an orange slice in the bottom of a cup of tea. When you're done with the tea, the fruit will be fully hydrated. farmers use rock salt for cattle. You can eat it too, so you could trade something for some. Yeah. So all of these things are things that we would, and again, most of this stuff we consider to be a luxury. We don't think that you need to live off of all of these things.
Yeah.
Now, Chris said that you've got to have so many things of salt. I really don't feel like we consume that much salt in a year as it is right now. Because we felt like a 25-pound bag of salt would be enough for the year.
Right. We don't consume a lot of salt, but when you start looking at stuff...
What?
Is he okay?
Yeah.
Well, he's kicking my leg.
Yeah, he's dreaming.
Oh, he's chasing a rabbit again.
Yep.
When we start looking at different things that we're going to be producing, like with our bacon and just the curing aspect of it, we're going to need a lot of salt. We need
the salt for that. But that, a lot of times, is a different type of salt. Mm-hmm. It's a curing salt. So there's some stuff there too that, and just like when we were talking about sugar cane and sorghum, we are also crossing our fingers hoping that we're going to have more honey. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that we can do too. I think that potatoes have been a main staple of most people who have been through famines and hardships. Yes, but we're trying to take this opportunity as well to try and stay away from the sugars, the potatoes, the pastas, because that was one of the things that Paul and Katie asked about was, well, what are you going to do for sugar? What are you going to do? Because that was, okay, so this is what started the whole conversation. We were sitting at the table, and Jason asked me for a glass of sweet tea. And I said, look, we need to talk about the tea. We're going through 2 gallons of tea a day. And so we're quickly going through our sugar, and we're quickly going through our tea. So I really think that the best thing for us to do is to limit our tea consumption to just when we eat our meals. So if you eat breakfast and you want to have tea, fine. If you eat lunch, tea, fine. But you can't be drinking tea all throughout the day, because otherwise we're going to consume way more than we can keep up with, and that's not what we want to do. So I decided that it would be better for us to help limit it by just having them with meals.
Mm-hmm. And look, she took the executive authority that she has in our marriage and in this house, because we both have the same amount of executive authority. Make no mistake about that. Yes, I am the head of this household, but we are also a team.
Right.
And she is absolutely correct for making this, because that was a decision I would not have made, because I am the big tea consumer in the house. I drink probably 1.5 gallons of tea easy a day. Now, I know you guys are fixing to blow up my chat about my kidneys and everything like that. I get it. I got it. I love my tea. Mm-hmm. Tea is better for you than soda pop.
Yes.
So, and I don't drink my tea with a lot of sugar. Because if I did, I'd probably be diabetic by now.
Right.
With as much tea as I consume. I am a big tea drinker.
Well, how do you like what we're drinking right now?
It's good.
That was only a half a cup of tea, or a half a cup of sugar.
Look, I like completely unsweet tea. I like the taste of tea without anything in it. I like that. I can, so anything else, adds to it. Mm-hmm. That's why I love in the spring and summertime when mint is in, because I'll go out there with my glass of tea. I'll
grab some mint leaves.
I'll grab some mint, boom, boom, and put them in there.
Right.
Now, one of the things that I do not like about the mint is when I'm drinking it and it slides down and gets stuck in the back of my throat. So I either have to fabricate something that I can put my mint leaves in and put it in the glass,
or maybe just we start doing it in the whole pitcher, and then that way it just stays in the pitcher and keeps the pitcher or maybe put it in with the boiling, like when it boils, so that the oil's released from the. Do you get sugar crashes if not having your tea?
No.
No. Robin, is Jason drinking Sun tea? Maybe he would need less sweetener in it. He really doesn't need any sweetener. He will drink it unsweet. But I like to have it sweetened. So that's where it was more for me than for him, was this is the best way for us to regulate it. Because that's the other thing that we're going to have, I can already see it coming from a mile away, is my daughters. Because they are so used to food being just, if we don't have it, hop in the car and go down and get it. And so like yesterday, I don't know how many of y'all saw on Instagram or Facebook, we were having lunch and I went out and harvested some turnips.
What's
and
a
some
tea
turnip
ball?
greens. You have a tea ball. What we usually put the loose leaves of tea in.
Oh, that thing's too big for a glass.
Yeah.
That thing's like that big.
One of the little single cup ones. Yeah, I don't know. So, but basically what it boiled down to is I told them they needed to go outside and go pick their lunch. They had to go get the turnips and the greens and all that stuff and bring it inside, chop up the garlic, chop up the greens, cook it, and eat it. And they did a good job of that. But what I see happening is they... Well, here's an even better example. This morning when I woke up, and this is what started the whole thing about the tea. I came in this morning and there were 2 cups of tea, like here, that had not been consumed. And so I want to take this opportunity to address waste. Now with you, it's not a problem. If I pour you a full glass of tea, you're going to drink that full glass of tea. But I know in the past, you'll not fuss at the girls, but joke with them and say, you have something against a full glass? But with them, they're going to need to learn to not pour a full glass of something. They can always go back and get more, but they don't need to pour a full 8-ounce, 12-ounce glass to be able to do that. Now, I'm loving all of the suggestions about frozen fruit.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can do all that. The problem is it's January. Ooh. So that's the thing is I have every intention of being able to use like our blueberries, blackberries, raspberries,
I want to try that.
With cucumbers and mint?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that. We will have that. But the issue is right now, I don't have that.
Okay.
But that's another thing that we're looking into is being able to grow some stuff inside here before it gets to be time to be able to do it out there. That stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be pollinated.
Yeah. Now, the other next big question that we were getting was, are you guys not spending any money at all? Or and if you do spend money, what are some things that you're going to spend money on? Or is there limitations to what you can spend money on and blah, blah, blah? And, Robin and I never really, we kind of talked about it, but we never really talked about it to set guidelines. Obviously, we have to pay our bills. The mortgage, insurances.
Gas, all that stuff.
All that, yeah.
But we made a big step with our wood-burning stove to be able to do wood for heat, so we don't have that now. We also are doing our best. We're working with Chris to be able to get some gas, get off of natural gas and get onto propane. So toilet paper has come up several times. I was joking with Katie yesterday when she was telling us that they were going to come to visit. And she said, when we come, should we bring toilet paper? And I was just joking with her. I was like, I think I'm going to start charging a toilet paper tax. Or maybe, because I told the girls, I was like, the thing that we really are missing until we get into dairy is butter. It's not even milk, it's butter. Because we cook with butter a lot. We use butter on popcorn. Like, we do a lot with butter.
Did you notice that they used the bacon grease to cook lunch?
Yes.
And that lunch was phenomenal.
It was. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when you don't have it, what do you do when adversity comes? What do you do? Because then you have to try and be, and that's one thing I can say about my kids is that they are doing a really good job of seeing something and having a little bit of knowledge and being able to go, and figure out a different plan. So like this morning we had bacon with breakfast, and they saved the bacon grease and used that this afternoon to feed everybody, to cook a meal. Now, we didn't have any cheddar cheese left. All the cheddar is gone. But we did have a few things of cream cheese left. So instead of using a lot of cheddar cheese, they took cream cheese and mixed it in to make macaroni and cheese. So that was really kind of cool. They definitely, it was like, well, we got all these people we got to feed, and we've got a box of macaroni noodles still left, so let's do this, let's throw that in there. I think they were even going to throw some greens in, because I saw where they had chopped up some, but I think because of the kids, they didn't think that was a good idea. So we, so that was cool. So popcorn with garlic powder, not butter. We can try that. So that's the thing, is like we're kind of all of these different things that we're trying to come up with to figure stuff. So Single Dad said use bacon grease for popcorn. Yeah, I just saw that. I might have to do that too. We might try that. You gotta have that kitchen gold. To run out is a sin. Oh, so yeah, so that's another thing, is we still have lard that we have to render, or fat that we have to render into lard. So that's another project for another day, because again, this weekend didn't go at all how I had it planned. We're trying our best on the soap aspect to try and stay away from buying soap at all. I am going to make some Castile soap so that we can make dishwashing or dish soap for the sink. So that's a little bit of a process, because you have to take Castile soap is usually just olive oil, but we're going to do olive oil, half coconut, or somewhere around in there. And I'm going to make Castile soap, but that takes liquid Castile soap. So that takes a while. So I'm going to have to do that. Let's see. Do you still... So
back. Kind of got off track there a little bit. But you gave it I think you answered like 14 questions.
Hey, Mims's Garden.
So are we going to spend money at all? Well, Robin and I have started kind of talking about it. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that one of the avenues that we're looking at is Robin's paycheck, my check, those will be used to pay bills, to help get us, get us out of debt, do this, do that. Any money that we make from our homestead can be used to purchase, like if we can't find anybody to barter with sugar or with flour or whatever, that we will use the money that we make off of the homestead to counteract that. No different than they did in the 1800s. The original homestead aspect was what we're trying to get back to, is where, like
Charles Ingalls.
There you go. Charles Ingalls. they had to go to the little store and they had to buy coffee and white sugar and flour, even though he was growing wheat that he was taking to the mill.
Right. They still had to get stuff. Right.
They still had to get stuff. The kids' shoes.
Candy.
Candy.
Right.
Fabric to make stuff.
Okay, so bottom line is you'll spend money if you have to. And you'll barter for staples such as the original homestead community.
That is correct, Chris.
And but I want you to understand that buying is a absolute last resort, in my opinion, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I want to do this with absolutely no buying any of that kind of stuff, because I don't see, if we're trying to figure out what's a necessity, like for instance, we had to buy hay. That's a no brainer. We had to.
Excuse me for a second. I got to go help Jeremiah with his pigs. You can keep going. I'm not going to be going, but
so really at the end of the day, but one of the questions was somebody was talking about somebody was asking about soda. I don't know if you noticed, but on that barter list, that's not on there. That is a hard line that we're going to try and stick to, is no soda for the year. As far as the other stuff, even those to some extent are a luxury, and so won't be, we're not going to just every time we want bananas, because we can't get anybody who's got bananas, we're going to go buy bananas. That's not how it's going to work. So that's basically the way that it's going to go. So does that answer questions? Does anybody have any other questions as far as that? Yeah. And what I was saying before is we're going to take this as an opportunity to also lower our sugar intake and our carb intake, because your body doesn't need all that. A lot of times I think there's this conception that we need, soda as in Coke, not baking soda. As in Coke, Pepsi, all that. Cherry Coke is my nemesis. And so we're going to stay away from that. But we're going to take the opportunity this year to get away from that as much as possible. And that's why I'm looking at, everybody is talking about sugar. We have, because we still tend to be in the mindset of stocking up on stuff. And so we have some sugar. We have a good bit of sugar. But my point is to try and make that sugar last. And, and to also be fully aware of how much we take in. Because this is an awesome opportunity to acknowledge that. And so that's what I think is going to be a good lesson. So how does that affect all of your trips? We're still talking about that. Because that's where we start thinking about, we were talking about the money that we make from our homestead. So if we take that money and we use it to go on our trip to facilitate eating while we're there, then that might be an option. But there's no way, with the Shindig and Homesteading Life, at least, those two are going to be a week trip, no matter what. And the Bayou Bash, all three of those are going to basically eat up my entire vacation for the year. So each one of those is a week. So thinking that we would be able to pack enough for all four of us to consume and to keep it cold and keep it readily available for us to eat for an entire week is not, in our opinion at this point right now, is not realistic.
What are we talking about?
About trips.
Yes.
So, but that doesn't mean that we can't say, okay, we're going to pack all of our drinks. We're going to have jerky for the trip, to be able to snack on. Maybe we make some kale chips, and things like that to be able to travel with. But we are going to be staying at other people's houses, or we are going to be staying at Airbnbs with other people. So there's going to be some situations that we may have to bend on, that kind of thing.
Well, I have not been, I will never be a rude house guest. Mm-mm. And I'm not going to put anybody out.
Right.
So, for example, with the Shindig, we're staying with Jess and Jeremiah.
Right.
I am not going to tell them, hey, I need to be able to cook my own food at
your house.
No, I'm not doing that.
And I'm not going to share, because I'm only bringing enough for me and my... No, that's not going to work.
Now, I may ask them, hey, I've got a couple of Boston butts. Do you want me to bring one?
Right.
And so, and offer that way with stuff to be able to share with everybody. But like at the Shindig, from my understanding, I think Friday's meal has already been catered.
Right, it's catered, right.
So
and I think at the Bayou Bash, one of the meals is
well, look, all bets off right at the Bayou Bash, because I'm going to be straight up honest. We're being 100% transparent. There is some stuff at the Bayou Bash that I have never heard of.
In Louisiana,
Louisiana that I've never heard of. And I'm going to eat it. I'm going to try it. So,
right. Yeah.
And again, I'm staying with the Broussards.
The Broussards.
And I'm not putting them out by any means for this experiment whatsoever, because just like Charles Ingalls, when Charles Ingalls went to somebody's house, he ate what was at
the table,
what was served to him. Mm-hmm. He didn't go, oh no, I can't eat gluten.
Right.
No, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And again, when it comes to Louisiana, there's some stuff there that Fat Boy want to eat. I want to try.
Right. And
now, when we go to Chris's house, well, Chris is going to make me what I tell him to make.
No, but like when we go to Homesteading Life, I would assume at this point we're probably going to share again with Chris.
Mm-hmm. As long as he promises not to cook.
So we'll end up with, we'll probably coordinate what we're bringing. Mm-hmm. He'll probably bring some meat. We'll probably bring some meat. Yeah. But the thing to keep in mind with that trip, that's in August. So we'll have had a pretty good harvest by then. So we'll have a lot of stuff to be able to, bring and eat by then. Mm-hmm. The one in April, the Shindig, is going to be a little bit more challenging because there's only so many kale chips you can eat.
Well, look, I mean, we're getting ready to start hardcore beaver trapping. Mm-hmm. And so we are going to be, we've already pretty much agreed that the first couple of beavers that we bring in is going to be nothing but jerky. Yeah. Nothing but beaver jerky. And, so there's that. That, kale chips,
I'm sure we can come up with other stuff. We do still
have some dehydrated apple chips underneath the house. I think we got some dehydrated pineapple.
Banana chips. Mushrooms. I remember that, Jason. You can cook. Not me and Robin and the girls.
I can cook. Mm-hmm. I didn't get this fat for nothing.
Please, sir. That I own 100% of that.
Not really.
Okay. That's what you need the salt for.
For what?
For your cooking. Give it some flavor.
Please. But when it comes to travel and stuff like that, and as the year goes along, we're planting peanuts this year. So we'll have peanuts for the trip. So
we'll have fruit because we'll probably dehydrate some fruit. We'll have a lot of different. I'll trade you 50 pounds of rolled oats for a beaver.
Done.
That's pretty easy.
Do I have to skin and clean the beaver?
I mean, you can, but...
I am making this deal.
You can. Oh my God, I just realized I'm 45 minutes from the salt flats. If we can figure out how to clean it, I'll send you salt. Oh, wow. Great Lake Salt Flats. Great Salt Lake Salt Flats. That is so cool. 100% own. Yeah, I own all of that right there. That's all me. So, no, beaver jerky is actually pretty good. I always say to people, a lot of what goes into whether or not you're going to like something is up here. Like, people get it in their brain, you know, ooh, it's beaver, I'm not going to eat that. Or, ooh, it's raccoon, I'm not going to eat that. Because I'll be completely 100% honest with you.
I was about to kick you right under the bus.
The idea of eating raccoon, I shy away from it almost immediately. But when Jason reminds me that we live out in the country, not out in the city, and the stuff that they would be...
If you're getting the pelt, you're getting it green. I'm not going to flesh it and tan it for you. You can do that yourself.
But...
I don't like oats that much.
So, the thing is that we... I don't even remember what I was saying. You just totally like...
You were talking about raccoon and how you were like...
So with raccoon, yeah, in your brain, a lot of people, if I were to just hand them the jerky, they probably wouldn't even know that it was beaver instead of beef. Like, for real. Mm-hmm. But if I told you this is beaver jerky, some of you might be like, you know. So, when you or your friends visit the coast, you can bring back seaweed. Huh. Yeah, most meat is meat if it's cooked and seasoned correctly. But I do believe, because we've been through this before, the taste of that animal is a product of what they eat. And so my thing is with raccoons, our brain tells us they're trash pandas. So, you know, most of the time I'm thinking, you know, raccoon's eating trash. I don't want to eat the raccoon. But when you start thinking about the ones that are eaten out here, if we get them from around here, they're full of berries, my lettuce, you know, all these different things that they're foraging around getting. So they're probably not going to be, you know, too bad.
Are the Broussards still in here?
I don't know. I haven't seen them lately. They are wanting to introduce beaver back into the Highlands. Jerky is jerky. Yeah, I even want to test. I want to try and make chicken, because we've seen chicken jerky and turkey jerky. So I want to try and make, you know, others, but we're going to have to look and see what those are. Jason, do you eat the beaver tail? Yes. Not yet. I haven't eaten it yet.
I have eaten it.
Oh, I have not eaten it.
It's great as a soup. As a soup.
That is what catfish are. Yeah, catfish are bottom feeders, but they're delicious.
Yeah. So,
excuse me, I got all excited there. We're going to provide a lot of meat for both of our families. Bear, deer.
So, one of the things that the money that we make on the homestead is going to go for is... What?
Abby said, I'm listening, but Mom and Dad are outside.
Oh. Well, tell Dad to get back in here.
I made rabbit jerky, and it was worse than rope. Great favor, but chew forever.
We have a creek on the property. Or if you're from Louisiana, I have a bayou.
It's bayou. Bayou.
Was that you or Apollo?
That was Apollo.
That's nasty.
It was just making me think of our guest earlier today. I have to ask you about that later. Seaweed dried is a snack that will last for ages. It has high nutritional value and can help replace salt in some meals. And it's free. Yeah, we use seaweed paper when we're making sushi. So
But I would like, and I have a beaver in my creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not messing with him. He's going to live to be a ripe, old, stingy beaver. And the reason why I'm not messing with him is because he's doing the work for me that we were going to try to do, which we started trying to do this summer.
Yeah, he finished it out for us.
And so
hey, W5, what's up?
he's backing up and damming up some areas of my creek to make it deeper.
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably going to go in there and assist him by making it a little bit wider for him. But I want to stock said creek with trout and crawfish. And I wanted to talk to the Broussards to see if they knew anybody that does a lot of crawfish trapping down there that maybe I could go out with one day to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. I've trapped crawfish in our creeks and rivers up here. I was semi-successful, but nothing like them boys down there that are pulling out 1,000 at a time.
But it might be just where they are, like, versus it might not be your trapping, it might just be the area you're trapping in.
Right.
You know?
And I need to know what's a better area to go look for crawfish. See, I don't know a lot about crawfish. I'll be the first to admit it. But I would like to get some more crawdad information. But I like to get those areas stocked because that is just another food source. I'm going to be putting a video out. It's probably going to come out this week about our different meat sources that we have here on the homestead for this project.
So, Single Dad said it gets too hot here for trout. So, maybe bluegill.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, but I think if I'm deep enough and back there underneath that canopy, well, you know what? I may do bluegill or brim back there and then just make Single Dad catch me a bunch of trout and we swap fish.
I don't know. We have a guy that I work with actually does guided fishing trips. Mm-hmm. So I may like twist his arm and say, "Hey, I need to go get some fish." So we'll see. Our crawdads don't get big enough. Jason, plant crappie, not trout. It's too hot there for trout.
And crappie's good too. I just really love trout.
Yeah.
Really
that may be, and so that's what we're talking about with seafood being a luxury. Those are things that we can't necessarily get all the time, but we could get occasionally. We have trout, but it has to be running water that has deep spot. So, April was saying they had somebody who did a wild boar in jerky, and that it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would imagine it would be. Shooting estate across the road ends up giving away pheasant at the end of each season. Most people who visit to shoot never take. So that's another thing that we found while we were on our property today that you were excited about.
Yeah, that I wasn't going to share with anybody. I was going to surprise Chris with it when he came down.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
I brought it up now. No. You might as well tell them.
No. We found mushrooms on our property today. Yeah. We were walking around. We don't know what kind they are, but...
Somebody was supposed to Marco Polo me back when they got home and looked in their mushroom book. Because I sent them all the pictures that they wanted. And for some reason, my phone is just not picking up a Marco Polo.
It might just not be working.
Oh, it may
I
be.
don't know. Yeah. So, but let's see. Shooting a state across. Yeah. So she has she's got pheasants in her barn with the ones that are lambing, and they're beautiful over there. Okay, so I guess that's really it. It took us an hour, a little over an hour. Did anybody have any questions?
Well, let's see. We covered the stuff that we need to barter.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody asked, what do we have
Dang,
to offer in exchange? So if I was going to make a barter with, let's just pick on Chris since he forgot. You know, we have steers.
Yes.
Boom. We have pigs. We have soap.
Mm-hmm. I can crochet, so any
hides.
Hides.
You know, we have a lot of different skills that, like, I say hides, but we can also take those hides and make a hat.
Raccoon hat, yeah.
Gloves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those kinds of things. And when vegetables and stuff come in, you know, we may have a bumper crop of this or that. Also, we will be having a lot of starter plants.
Yes.
Extra starter plants.
Yes.
And trees. And some fruit trees that we're going to start. Like, I'm going to start more. Ladessa and I are going to start some more peach trees from seed. And so we'll have those to be able to barter with.
Yeah, labor is definitely
one. So we have a lot of different things to offer. My best thing would be
the pecans are no good this year. If I send you my green rabbit hides, would you tan them in barter? How would you send them without?
You would have to pack them in dry ice, or you would have to.
Yeah, I don't know how you would get them here.
I don't know how we could do that in time.
To get them to us. Getting them back wouldn't be a problem, but getting them to you would be...
You would pretty much have to do all the scraping to get all the fat and stuff off.
So that it doesn't go rancid before it gets here. Yeah.
Because the moment that... I would love to say yes, Mama Grows, but...
We're not completely cutting out salt. We're still using salt.
I'm afraid that it wouldn't make it here.
They're in salt right now.
I'm still afraid that hair is going to slip. See, I don't salt mine. Yeah, yes, our right now, unfortunately, and my pond is open for anybody that wants to come and catch catfish, because the family that owned this property before, for some reason, felt that the need to put 2,000 catfish.
I don't know. It was a ridiculous number for the size of the
I want to say it's either 2,000 or 7,000, because he put grass carp in and catfish. He put 2,000 of one and 7,000 of the other. Which, I'm thinking, either which way, I'm always stressing about my pond rolling over. That's why I didn't trap the otter out when he came. And I think he did a very good... He helped me a lot. That's why I didn't run the osprey off this last summer. Blaze was literally going out there with a cast net, and we were filling up 5-gallon buckets full of catfish and taking them to my neighbor's ponds and into the beaver pond to stock those ponds. But yes, I do want to get around to putting some crappie, brim, and bass in my pond, so I have a good variety of fish in there.
Yeah. So. All right. Well. Carp or crappie?
Crappie.
You said carp.
Hey, there's grass carp in there.
Yeah.
I want to put crappie in there.
Yeah.
You know, rumor has it that pond, my pond, used to be the pond around here for bass. And I don't know what happened.
If If a pond is dug on a gradual slope, do the fish keep down the cattails?
Yes, if you want to stock a pond with catfish, I got catfish.
I got catfish. We got plenty of catfish.
Because I can throw a trout line out in my pond, and the best I'll get are catfish like this, because the chicken livers and stuff don't even make it all the way to the bottom. Mm-mm. So I probably got some big cats in there. I just don't. I never get the opportunity to go after them because the little ones are tearing everything up. So. Mm-hmm.
My mama probably got fished out and not restocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Okay, guys, I hope we were able to answer any questions. If you want to participate and you got some stuff that's on our list that you know that we
think they're channel cats.
That we have put up here, and I'm going to put this list up one more time for a little bit. If you guys see anything on that list that you think that you have an abundance of, and would like to barter with us over the next year, please send us an email or a message via Facebook. Anyway, just get in contact with us in any way that you can, and we will set up a system to be able to barter back and forth with you. Definitely, you want to go out and buy extra baking powder to barter with us, by all means. Let's work it out first before you go and spend the money. Just like with the yeast, with our brewer's yeast to be able to make our wine and stuff, I'm thinking that place in Athens may be open for a barter. I'm thinking.
I don't know.
And so it's definitely going to be one of those that I want to go and talk with them about.
Well, I was thinking yeast for bread, but
yeah, I know.
Which really, at the end of the day, that's what we used for our very first. I have oranges and mangoes.
Okay, hit us up.
Yeah, let us know. So, all right, well, thank you guys so much for coming and joining us. We real quick, B-Lady, we don't have cattails here, so he was just trying to do something and he didn't do his research on how much he needed. He just thought more was better.
Who?
The previous owner, with getting all the fish that he got.
Yeah.
So
I would like to get some cattails and plant them over here behind the office. I mean, it's corn dog seeds, y'all. It's corn dog seeds.
You're silly.
No, they're a good water filtration system, and our gray water comes out right there.
Right there, yeah. So it would be nice for that.
So it'd be nice to help get them filtered out. Okay, guys, don't forget Roots and Refuge goes on tonight in a little bit, in about an hour, and hope to see you guys there. Don't forget you can email if you want to. Again, if you want to participate, barter back and forth with us, please hit us up, Facebook or email, and I guess we will see you guys on Saturday, right?
Yep. We'll see you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday.
Bye,
y'all having a great night.
Good night.